USPAP page 190. USPAP composition, structure, and compliance. Estate appraisals, an opinion of value of real estate to comply with USPAP, no matter what the intended use. Additionally, regardless of the intended use of the appraisal, individuals who hold themselves out as appraisers should comply. It is important to note that fair value assignments performed in compliance with accounting standards codification ASC 805 business combinations, formerly Statement of Financial Accounting Standards number 141R, issued by the Financial Accounting Standards Board, are often referred to as allocations. However, the asset values determined in these assignments are appraisals as defined in USPAP because they are opinions of value. Therefore, these allocations must comply when the appraiser or the assignment is required by law, regulation, agreement of the client, or when the appraiser belongs to a professional organization that requires compliance. In addition, any individuals holding themselves out to be appraisers should comply, even when not required to do so. Number 4, assignment involving analysis of leases. Question: an investment firm hired an appraiser to abstract leases, input the data into a lease-by-lease analysis software program, estimate market rents and expenses, estimate the discount rate, run 10 discounted cash flows, and provide a value using the income capitalization approach. The appraiser completed the assignment, including providing a conclusion of market value, and delivered the electronic lease-by-lease analysis file to the client. Does USPAP apply to this service? Answer. Response: yes. This service is an appraisal. In order to be in compliance with USPAP, the appraiser must observe the development and reporting requirements applicable to a real property appraisal assignment. Standards 1 and 2. It is not possible to determine from the information provided whether the appraiser properly developed his or her assignment results. However, it does appear that the reporting of the assignment results fails to comply with Standard 2. USPAP prescribes the minimum content requirements for 2 real property appraisal reporting options: appraisal report and restricted appraisal report. The communication of solely a lease-by-lease analysis file does not satisfy the reporting requirements of USPAP. Number 5, USPAP compliance as an instructor. Question: in addition to my job as an appraiser, I spend a significant amount of my professional time as an instructor of appraisal courses and seminars. One of the prerequisites for my teaching position is that I must also be a practicing appraiser. Am I subject to USPAP when I am teaching appraisal courses? Response: yes. Since you are acting in the role of an appraiser in these teaching assignments, you are engaged in appraisal practice, which is defined in USPAP as valuation services performed by an individual acting as an appraiser, including, but not limited to, appraisal and appraisal review. Bold added for emphasis. While USPAP does not include standards rules for teaching assignments, all services performed as part of appraisal practice must comply with USPAP. The portions of USPAP that apply generally to appraisal practice include the preamble, the definitions, the ethics rule, the competency rule, and the jurisdictional exception rule. See Advisory Opinion 21, USPAP Compliance, for discussion of the application of USPAP in valuation services. Page 191, USPAP Composition, Structure, and Compliance Continued. Number 6, Personal Property Appraisal Requirements. Question: I'm a personal property appraiser, and I've been asked to donate my professional services to help raise funds for a charitable organization. The charity wants to hold an event where individuals can bring in their personal property items, and for a nominal fee that is paid to the charity, receive an oral report of my opinion as the value of their items. This appears to be similar to television shows where people bring in their personal items to be valued. If I decide to participate, would my opinions be considered appraisals? And if so, how could I comply with USPAP in performing these assignments? Response: USPAP defines appraisal as the act or process of developing an opinion of value. Therefore, the opinions you describe would be appraisals. To comply with USPAP, a personal property appraiser would have to comply with the requirements of Standard 7 and Standard 8, in addition to the applicable rules. For instance, the ethics rule, the competency rule, and the scope of work rule. This means the appraiser would have to perform the level of research and analysis required to produce credible assignment results, given the intended use. Since the appraiser would be communicating the appraisal as an oral report, the report must address, to the extent that it is both possible and appropriate, the substantive matters of an appraisal report. In addition, the appraiser would have to prepare a work file as required by the record-keeping rule. These television shows may make it appear that the appraiser is providing his or her appraisal off the cuff and not in compliance with USPAP. However, it is more likely the appraiser has been provided with the personal property item to be appraised prior to the actual taping of the show. The appraiser may also be providing the property owner with a written appraisal report, although it may not be discussed during the television show. Therefore, it is possible the appraiser is rendering a USPAP compliant appraisal and report, even if it does not appear that way during the airing of the show. See Advisory Opinion 21, USPAP Compliance, for further guidance. Number 7, USPAP Compliance with other valuation standards. Question: I have been asked to perform an appraisal that complies with USPAP and with valuation standards from an international appraisal organization. If my appraisal with USPAP, will it automatically comply with other valuation standards as well? Response: no. Although there are similarities among all major appraisal standards, it is impossible to say that compliance with USPAP ensures compliance with any other standards. it would be necessary to review the actual content of the valuation standards in question to determine whether different actions would be necessary to comply with those standards. The